Psychoactive drugs, also known as psychotropic or mind-altering substances, have been used by humans for centuries. These substances, which range from the caffeine in your morning cup of coffee to the THC in cannabis, have the power to profoundly impact our perception, mood, and behavior. Throughout history, psychoactive substances have played a pivotal role in various cultures and societies. Indigenous peoples in the Amazon basin have used ayahuasca, a powerful hallucinogenic brew, for spiritual and medicinal purposes for thousands of years. Similarly, in ancient Greece, the mysterious ritual drink known as kykeon, believed to contain psychoactive substances, was a key part of the Eleusinian mysteries. In the modern world, psychoactive substances are ever present. The caffeine many of us consume daily to combat fatigue is a psychoactive drug, as it stimulates the central nervous system, warding off drowsiness and improving concentration. Alcohol, a depressant, is another widely used psychoactive substance that can alter mood and behavior, leading to relaxation or, in some cases, aggression. Then, there's cannabis, a plant that has been at the center of much debate and research in recent years. The primary psychoactive compound in cannabis, THC, can induce a variety of effects, including relaxation, euphoria, and altered sensory perception. And let's not forget about the wide array of synthetic psychoactive substances like MDMA and LSD, which are often used recreationally for their mood-altering and perceptual effects. Regardless of the substance, the effects of psychoactive drugs on the brain and body can be significant and in many cases are not fully understood. While some may use these substances recreationally or for medicinal purposes, others may struggle with misuse and addiction, which can lead to serious health and social consequences. From the coffee you drink in the morning to the cannabis some people use to relax, psychoactive substances have a significant impact on our daily lives. As we continue to explore this intriguing topic, we'll delve deeper into the science behind these substances and their effects on the brain. So, what exactly happens in the brain when we use psychoactive drugs? Picture the brain as a bustling city, with neurons as the inhabitants. These neurons are constantly chattering, sending messages to each other. And the language they use? It's a chemical one, using substances known as neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are like the words in the neuron's language. When a neuron has a message to send, it releases neurotransmitters into a small space called the synapse. From here, they travel across this gap and dock onto the next neuron at special sites called receptors, much like a boat docking at a harbor. This is how neurons chat and pass on information. But when psychoactive drugs enter the scene, they can change the conversation. Imagine if someone suddenly started shouting in the middle of a quiet conversation. That's essentially what these drugs do. They can amplify certain messages, muffle others, or even start conversations that wouldn't normally happen. Some drugs, like cannabis and opioids, mimic the shape of certain neurotransmitters and can bind to their receptors, fooling neurons into sending messages they wouldn't usually send. Others, like cocaine and amphetamines, change how neurotransmitters are recycled, leading to an excess of certain messages being sent. Psychoactive drugs can also affect the speed of the conversation. Depressants like alcohol slow things down, leading to feelings of relaxation and drowsiness. On the other hand, stimulants like caffeine speed things up, making us feel alert and energetic. It's important to remember that while these effects might sound appealing, they can also lead to harmful consequences. For instance, repeated use of these drugs can cause the brain to adjust to these new, louder conversations, leading to dependence and addiction. These neurotransmitters and their interactions are the key to understanding how psychoactive drugs affect our brains and behavior. So next time you enjoy your morning coffee or unwind with a glass of wine, remember the intricate dance of neurotransmitters happening in your brain. Psychoactive drugs can be broadly classified into three categories: stimulants, depressants, and hallucinogens. Each of these classes influences neurotransmitter activity in distinctive ways, thereby creating a variety of effects. Stimulants, for instance, act like a shot of adrenaline to your brain. Substances like caffeine, nicotine, and amphetamines fall into this category. They work by boosting the levels of excitatory neurotransmitters, such as dopamine and norepinephrine. This heightened activity results in increased alertness, energy, and concentration. That's why many of us lean on that morning cup of coffee to kickstart our day. On the other hand, depressants do precisely the opposite. They slow down brain activity. Alcohol, benzodiazepines, and opioids are prominent examples. These substances enhance the activity of GABA, an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which leads to feelings of relaxation and calm. However, it's important to note that while these effects may sound appealing, high doses or chronic use of depressants can lead to respiratory depression and even death. Finally, we have the hallucinogens. These substances, like LSD, psilocybin, and mescaline, profoundly alter perception, thoughts, and feelings. They achieve this by interacting with serotonin receptors in the brain. The result? Users often experience intense visual and auditory hallucinations, changes in the perception of time, and sometimes even spiritual or mystical experiences. Each of these classes of drugs interact with our brains in unique ways, leading to a wide range of effects. It's important to remember, though, that while some of these substances are legal and commonly used, they all carry potential risks and side effects. Regular or heavy use can lead to tolerance, dependence, and in some cases, addiction. As we move forward in our exploration of psychoactive drugs, we'll delve deeper into the brain's reward system and the role of dopamine, a neurotransmitter that's a key player in the effects of many of these substances. So stay tuned as we continue to unlock the mind and its complex relationship with psychoactive drugs. As you can see, different classes of drugs interact with our brains in unique ways, leading to a wide range of effects. One common thread among many psychoactive drugs is their impact on the brain's reward system, specifically the release of dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a critical role in how we perceive and pursue rewards. It's often referred to as the feel-good chemical because of its association with pleasure. When we do something enjoyable, like eating our favorite food or listening to a great song, our brain responds by releasing dopamine. This release reinforces the behavior, leading us to want to repeat it. In essence, it's our brain's way of saying, "That was great, let's do it again." Now let's bring psychoactive drugs into the picture. Many of these substances can cause a surge of dopamine in the brain, creating an intense feeling of pleasure or euphoria. For instance, stimulants like cocaine and amphetamines can increase dopamine levels by blocking its reabsorption into the neurons, leading to a buildup of dopamine in the brain. On the other hand, substances like opioids and alcohol can indirectly boost dopamine levels by inhibiting the neurons that normally suppress its release. This allows more dopamine to flow freely, amplifying the feeling of reward. However, it's not all fun and games. The brain is a balanced system, and when it's repeatedly exposed to these artificial surges of dopamine, it starts to adapt. It may produce less dopamine naturally or reduce the number of receptors that can receive it. This can lead to a decreased ability to feel pleasure from normal activities, driving a person to seek out the drug just to feel normal. This is a simplified explanation, of course. The brain's reward system is incredibly complex, involving multiple regions and a host of different neurotransmitters. But at its core, the manipulation of dopamine and the reward system is a key factor in the addictive potential of many psychoactive drugs. The manipulation of our brain's reward system is at the heart of why some psychoactive drugs can be so addictive. Now, let's talk about the short-term and long-term effects of psychoactive drugs. These effects can vary greatly depending on the type of substance used, the amount, and the individual's unique physiology. In the short term, psychoactive substances can induce a range of effects. For instance, stimulants might spark a rush of energy and heightened alertness, while depressants could lead to relaxation or drowsiness. Hallucinogens, on the other hand, may cause dramatic shifts in perception, leading to vivid visual and auditory experiences. It's not uncommon for individuals to experience euphoria, a powerful sense of happiness or pleasure, regardless of the type of substance used. However, these immediate effects are just one side of the story. Over time, the repeated use of psychoactive drugs can lead to more severe and long-lasting consequences. One of these is tolerance, where the brain becomes less responsive to the substance. This means that individuals need to consume more of the substance to achieve the same effect, escalating the potential harm. Another long-term effect is dependence. This occurs when the brain adjusts to the continual presence of the substance, leading to withdrawal symptoms when the substance is not available. These symptoms can range from mild discomfort to severe physical and psychological distress. The most serious long-term effect is addiction, a chronic disease characterized by compulsive drug-seeking behavior, despite harmful consequences. Addiction can impact every aspect of an individual's life, from their physical health to their relationships and career. While some people may use psychoactive substances recreationally without experiencing these issues, it's crucial to be aware of the potential risks and consequences. Not everyone who uses these substances will develop addiction, but the danger is always there. Remember, understanding the effects of these substances on our brain can be the first step in making informed decisions about their use.